I don't know why you hide, standing behind those eyes. I don't know what you're trying to do. Every time you pass by, I don't know why I start to smile, but I know that it feels right, yeah, I know that it feels. And I don't wanna drive into another lonely road, standing without you, standing all alone. Cause I just wanna know you bad, cause I just wanna know you bad. I don't know how, I don't know how to find something I can't find now. I don't know how, I don't know how. Tell me how to do this right now. I don't know how, I don't know how to find something I can't find now. I don't know how, I don't know how. Tell me how to do this right now. Try to give me another chance to trying to get to you. And I don't wanna drive into another lonely road, standing without you, standing all alone. Cause I just wanna know you bad, cause I just wanna know you bad. I don't know how, I don't know how to find something I can't find now. I don't know how, I don't know how. Tell me how to do this right now. I don't know how, I don't know how to find something I can't find now. I don't know how, I don't know how. Tell me how to do this right now.
Good afternoon, race fans. We are just getting ready, preparing for today's 45-minute race at the Nürburgring. And as I do so, finishing up my preparations, thought I'd just jump in, say hello. We will have a little pre-race action here in just a few minutes, and I gotta tell you, it's gonna be a little short of what you guys have become accustomed to, because I gotta tell you, trying to find information on just the GP circuit at the Nürburgring, and not including the Nordschleife and everything else, is rather difficult. I didn't think it would be. We'll have our track guide today. That's not a problem. Obviously, ACC exists, so track guides are going to exist. However, trying to find flyover that didn't include the entire ring, which, if I'm being honest, is one of my favorite ways to go driving. Spin up AC, right? Assetto Corsa, and dump yourself into something mildly fast, but you're not there to race, right? I just do practice laps. And go ahead and line up and just take a cruise through the countryside. It is a fantastic track. Can't drive like that on you can't drive like that in real life on real roads normally, no matter what kind of car you have. So to be able to do that on Nordschleife is just a blast, and I really enjoy it. But that said, today's race takes place on the GP circuit, and we will be watching our racers from Green Hell Racing League take it to each other. And today's race is going to get interesting, and we'll take a look at that in the track guide a little bit, because unlike yesterday at Silverstone, and unlike some of the tracks, the GP circuit is more like, well, I'd almost call it more like a Monza, right? When we discuss and we talk about, as I refresh things because apparently everything's being stupid today. When we talk about the circuit, and when we talk about, we talk about Monza, and Monza is always insanity in the first lap, right? Because you've got this huge straight stretch, super long. Cars are going 260, 270 kilometers an hour. And then it buttons down into a chicane, and everybody's got to get on the brakes hard, slow, right-hander, directly into a left-hander, and it is a show. Even in real life, Monza is always a show, right? Corner one is going to be insane. Well, it's the same here. You've got a super long straight stretch, okay, coming down into T1, and do not ask me to pronounce corner names today, folks. It's not going to work. Thank you, buddy. I don't speak those words, so that's not going to work out today. But here's the thing: you got the super long straight stretch, right, past the paddock, running downhill into turn one, and you're in first gear. You're locking it down. So again, lap one of today's race is gonna get crazy, and we're gonna try and catch all of that action going into T1 and then wrapping all the way around into T3 and 4 as these guys start to spread out. We did miss some action yesterday at Silverstone. There was an accident off the front. I'm going to do a little bit better in trying to capture that during the first lap this time by placing the camera as quickly as I can into helicopter view and on one of the cars in the middle of the pack to kind of try and help grab all of that and as much, as much action as we can possibly get before we tighten things down towards individual battles. But that first lap, we really got to open it up, right? So as we get set, though, this morning or this afternoon, let me take a look here. I'm hoping I did this right. And here we go. Here's your track guide for the Nürburgring. You guys take a look, and you're going to get to see exactly what you should expect from the racers today.
Hi, it's Brennan again, and we're back with another lap guide, and this time at the Nürburgring GT circuit. So we got the Ferrari today, and first run out a bit wide, get all the speed you can down the main straight. Okay, so the first braking point you want to be looking for is the 100 meter board on the left. You want to brake just before that and stay wide. Start turning slowly and trail brake, get right next to the apex and ease the throttle on exit. You can use a bit of the track on the left. Come back about halfway on the right. Now you don't need to use the brakes here, just coast it into the corner, wait for it to grip up, and as you get closer to the apex on exit, you can ease the throttle on. Don't punch the throttle too hard or the rear end might kick out. Run out wide to the right. You can use a bit of this AstroTurf on the exit. Don't go right over the curbing because you'll invalidate your lap. Okay, make sure to stay out wide, and just before the AstroTurf ends around about here, turn a little bit, start braking, and bring it in and drop your inner left tire just on the inside of this curbing here to help pull you around. Okay, you want to keep to the left, tap off briefly, and then put the right hand side of the car over this curbing on the right. As you get over the curbing, start easing the accelerator back on and run wide. Don't go too far over this white line or you can invalid lap, as you'll probably find. Now coming to the next corner, there should be a line of cones when you start off on the right here, but if you run wide enough, you'll probably take them out, as you can see I have done already. Just after this off-road on the right, you want to start aiming towards the corner and braking. Drop into third gear and coast into the corner. And as you grip up, start easing the accelerator back on. Bring it back to the middle of the track. Brake just before the curving on the right. Gently ease off the brake, and you want to have quite a late apex on this corner. So there's a little kink on the track just about here. And right after that, you want to start accelerating and bring it out on the outside curving over here. Now we head down to the hairpin. Now you want to look for this curving on the left, and just before the light patch ends, around about here, you want to start braking. Go straight for the apex, slightly drift out wide, and then as you grip up again, you can start easing the throttle back on, bring it out onto the curbing again. Now go up to the Schumacher S. To get a nice line through here, you can bring it right up onto the curbing on the right, drop it in, very briefly lift off the throttle, and then get back on it. You can use a bit of the curbing on the left to help you. Back on the right. And on the left again. And now we head to the next corner. Now just before this AstroTurf on the right, you want to start braking. You can place your car slightly over the white line. Bring it in and trail brake. You can use this curbing on the left. Take it out wide again. Back to the left as far as you can. Gently on the brakes. Start bringing it in. And as you start gripping up, hopefully you haven't gone too narrow. You have a late apex and start accelerating again. Out onto the curbing, and now we foot flat for a wee while. Now coming into the chicane, there's 3 distance markers. I brake between the 50 and 100 and closer to the 50 meter board. Don't brake too hard, start turning quite early. Around about here you want to let off the brake. Coast briefly, and just after the left turn you want to put your foot flat and just trust the car through here. Don't hit the bump on the right. Use the AstroTurf on the right. Run out wide on the left. You might have to quickly tap off if you get a bit unstable. And run about where the rubber marks start over here. You want to start braking again. Don't go too tight. Go a bit wide and have another late apex. Gradually ease the throttle on. You don't want to kick the rear end out here. Now ease it on, foot flat to the line. The Ferrari handles this track pretty well, I found, and I knew it would because it's really good with corners. And the Lamborghini is also pretty quick here, but I find it's a bit harder to drive. I haven't tried all the cars here. I found the BMW was also pretty quick, but I managed to go fast with the Ferrari quite quickly. Once again, I'm just using the aggressive setup here, so no special setup. The lap time I did here was a 1:43.4, which is a pretty decent lap time. I was happy with that. If you push a bit too hard in this car, the rear will probably kick out. And when it does that going through corners, if you put your foot down, it's not going to go anywhere because the traction control is stopping you from doing so. Make sure to keep the car gripping at all times. If you're sliding too much, you're going to slow your lap time down. It takes a precise driving style to get a really fast lap with this car. As you can see, it can be done. It just takes practice. If there's anything I missed, make sure to ask in the comments. I can try help you out, or maybe somebody else in the comments will be able to help you as well. If you enjoy the ACC content, make sure to subscribe and suggest what else you would like to see. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
And there we go, folks. That's your trek guide to the Nürburgring. And again, literally, pretty much the only thing I could find in about an hour worth of searching yesterday to be able to talk about the GP circuit, right? Because the Nordschleife is the big track. That's the really fun one. That's the one I enjoy driving in AC, but that is not it's not a part of the GT World Cup World Challenge calendar. Therefore, it's not included in Assetto Corsa Competizione. That said, again, we're going to get to watch these guys today run on this super, what I would call a pretty fast track, right? I mean, there's a lot of turns you can see there in the track map, but there's also a lot of places to get some runs. I mean, turn 12 is flat. You heard during the track guide, the Schumacher S is all but flat. It's basically a lift. So again, between that, the long straight up front, and then the drop back into the carousel at turn 7, these guys are going to be able to hit up some speed today. But as we wait, just the last couple of minutes here, real quick housekeeping items. Number one, don't forget there on the left-hand side of your screen, I can't promise that every one of these guys is racing today, but those that do will be streaming. So if you use something like multi-Twitch TV, you can watch the commentary. You can also watch these guys from their perspective, maybe catch incidents that I missed, things of that nature. I'm pretty sure if we talk about it, Pizza Man Pete, B Fife, Electric, these guys are pretty steady. I think even Steadfast, pretty steady in their streaming. So be sure to tune into them and give them some love as we get through today's race. But qualifying will be kicking off here in just a few minutes. And like every other race, guys, I'm going to ask you to stick with me for just 30 seconds. We're going to run a quick ad break, and that is just to ensure that anybody that joins us mid-race doesn't get that pre-roll, because if I've set things up properly, they won't have to deal with that, and they can join the action right away. And when we get back, we will just about be ready for qualification. Awesome. Well, thank you all for sticking with me through that. Again, it helps out the stream, helps out keeping the pre-rolls out of people's ways, out of their way as well as they join. So with that said, I am just waiting for the green light. Anybody in the chat tells me once qual actually starts, I would appreciate it, and we will get right over there to make sure we're ready to go for this. Beyond that, it is going to be a great day of racing, and to to B5's point, Red Rider has promised no rain today. We will see if that holds true, as the last few races have been nothing but rain. And I think everybody who drives is looking forward to a dry day on the track. Thank you, Fife. You too, man. Have a great race. Bear, great to see you, man. I wanted to make sure I gave you some love before I got back. And yeah, Max, like I said in the chat, man, I really wish the full Nordschleife was in this game to take those GT3 cars out, but I just dump over to AC. I think there's a McLaren in the game that basically lets me use my H shifter. And because with AC, if the car doesn't have an H shifter, you can't use it. The game won't even recognize it. There's a McLaren that lets you use the H shifter, little orange car. I take that out on the Nordschleife and just run, man. It's just fun. It's just so much fun to just go do laps. And I'm not even looking for speed. I'm not trying to be the fastest. I'm literally just driving in ways that I can't drive on real roads. And certainly not with a McLaren because, well, I don't, or I more than likely ever own one. But it does make it fun, that's for sure. And I'm just going to check notifications real quick and make sure and see if anybody has said it's time to get in there. We want to make sure we catch this qualification. Now, Pizza Man Pete has gone live. So has Dan000 and Electric ECC. So again, guys, hit that multitwitch.tv if you want to catch their action on the track as well. I'm sure that they would appreciate it. And the word is out to join. Oh, Lordy Lou. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to beat somebody after today's race. Oh my God, guys, give me 1 second. I need to go have a conversation with someone because something has changed. Something has changed. You all have to just give me a minute to get into the track here. And maybe B-Fife and Steadfast are both streaming as well today, guys. I don't know what the limit is on multitwitch.tv, but Nerdschleif, yeah. Please say Nordschleif again. Listen, I do not have to take any harassment from any German people coming in here, given the fact that I'm not German. I'm doing my best here. You know, that's why I said no one's going to get the pronunciation of the corners today. But Zorax, listen, you are more than welcome to join me on broadcast to make sure that we say this right. And that everybody gets the proper pronunciation today. I would hate to completely screw it up. There we go. All right, we are in and getting loaded up into qualifying for the 45 minutes at Nordschleif. Nordschleif. Is that it? Is that better? Worse? I don't know. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. Oh, Zorax can't join today, sadly. Well, that's a shame. Alright, so as we see, qualifying... Whoop, let's get that out of the way. Qualifying's kind of just started. We're only 3 minutes in, so obviously doing setups and making sure their cars are where they want them. You know, starting with that predetermined setup. These guys have not cleared any full laps yet, or any flying laps to set times. But that's okay. That's okay. And now I'm all screwed up because my track map is different than this one, so I'm going to have to pay special attention there. So as we look down through today, it looks like we've got the usuals. Red Rider joining today. That's good to see him back out. I know he was on the go yesterday. Nordschleife. Now that I know is wrong, Max. Nordschleife. You guys are going to correct me until I get it right. I just know it. Just gonna hammer me until I get it just right. And that's not gonna surprise me. And that's okay. I'd rather say it the right way, right? Say again, actually pretty good. Nordschleife. Nordschleife. Zorax, you saw the word I put on Discord the other day, and that, as far as I'm concerned, is exactly what every German word sounds like, unless it's Gesundheit. And even that I'm probably saying wrong, because I was told I was. So as we take a look up front, no one having set any times yet today. But let's take a look at our field. Doc Fork back to run, skipping around corners, already taking out cones. Dan 00 Alpha, Slobbery Spy, Electric, and Stolowski are all back for the big race. Dunn back in his Audi. Bigelow, Fife, Red Rider, Nat JB. And then we go run right down. BB Lightfoot joining us today. I know he's been out for a little while. Steadfast, McAlpin. I don't think we've seen him around for a little while, so good to see him back in racing today. Donkey Pete, or Pizza Man Pete on Twitch. Give him a follow, some love. BK Ferrari, Yash Joshi, and Thorn Geek, all joining so far. So no show yet from Mr. Chief Blaze, but he always seems to roll a little bit later into qualifying. And there we have Doc Fork setting our first time at 1:58, and Slobbery Spy right behind him with a 1:57.9, just cracking under that 1:58 mark, right? And again, you know, as you guys join the races, you know our best times are never the ones we get up front. So that field is going to change as we continue to watch the following 15 or so minutes that are left in qualifying. With that, so yes, not bad. Okay, so Nordschleife. Is that better? I got to put the little at the end there? Is that what I'm doing wrong? I'm going to get it right and then not say it for the rest of the stream, and then I'll forget by the next, you know, the next time we race here. So that'll work out great. And more times starting to come in. Dunn breaking under that 1:58 mark as well with a 1:57.4. Kicking out Slobbery by about a half a second, and not surprisingly. Dunn's a quick guy in that Audi. I'll give him that. We also have Donkey Pete setting his first time around the track, coming in at number 4 so far. Nordschleife. Nordschleife. Nordschleife? Is it Leife or Leif? Leife. Nordschleife. So we're actually going to teach me German yet, folks, and y'all are just going to have to go through the pain of me. Nordschleife. Okay. All right, I got it now. I got it. I think I got it down. We'll have to make sure I use it as many times as possible during today's race. And we see there B-Fife has clocked in and pushed Donkey Pete down a little bit, taking number 4. Yes, finally. It takes me I'm a little slow on the uptake, guys, but once I get it, I get it. So, Nordschleife. Life, Nordschleife. Okay, not leaf. Okay, life, not leaf. Gotcha. Ferris, thank you. Nordschleife. But why am I... Wait a minute. You guys have me all jacked up. We are running the Nürburgring GP. Nobody cares about the Nordschleife today because it's not in this race. I mean, it is, but it's not because it's only part of the Nordschleife circuit, right? So you guys have me going off about a track that we're not even driving on. We're on the Nürburgring GP circuit. Nat JB now has bumped everybody down a spot. He's dropped back to the pits probably to make some adjustments to his setup, but has now broken down 157 to a 156.5. And we'll have to see if anybody else can keep up with that. Few more have set times now. We see Stolowski only 4/10 off the pace, and I'll tell you what, Nat just barely cleared out on Dunn with who's only 8 100ths back. And these guys keep jumping into the pits on me as I switch to him. Pierre is missing too. Yeah, I don't see Pierre. Chief Blaze just showed up. That's good. We got him rocking out. 18 drivers for today. I know somebody had said I think we had 21 signed up. This being a 20-man limit server, we want to make sure everybody can get in, so hopefully there aren't any issues there. But let's go back to it. Yash Joshi has now set a time. B-Fife, who just pushed Yash Joshi down a spot. Electric ECC, Donkey Pete, Steadfast, Bigelow, and McAlpin are all there driving now. McAlpin in that Porsche. We'll see how those handle today. We've got a few more of those today versus the previous races. So 4 Porsches so far. See if we get any more. But Nat JB now has jumped up again and is sitting at the front of that pack in his very fancy Mercedes. Typically a Bentley driver, I believe, so it'll be very curious to see how he handles that today. Very curious. I think we've seen him in the Bentley quite a bit. Stolowski in that Aston. We saw him in that yesterday. Slobbery driving his Bentley. Again, we saw him in that yesterday. And as we discussed, you know, these guys kind of have a choice during this season. Swap cars every weekend or swap cars every race, right? Between a British and a German make. So they've got 2 cars they have to run. 2 races per weekend. It's really thrown a wrench, I think, into some people's plans because I know, like myself, for the previous season, you knew what race was coming up. You had all week to practice. I'd spend the first 2 or 3 days, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours a day, running laps, just trying to find all my break points and make sure they're set. And I had them kind of memorize that muscle memory type of thing. And again, being a slow driver, I at least wanted to make sure I could run clean and laps as fast as I possibly could for qualifying and then even race pace. And then the last day or two was typically played offline, driving against the AI, which is not super realistic, obviously. It's AI, right? But it does force you to drive in traffic, force you to contend with people braking. Again, AI braking, but people braking where maybe you don't normally brake, right? Just going out and driving these tracks by yourself is not going to allow you to race properly. But putting yourself in traffic. So that's typically my thing. So my point being there from this long diatribe is basically the fact that with this season, two tracks, 2 cars possibly for the weekend, and y'all can welcome my son to the show. He has decided to join me down here, and I'm sure he wants to speak to me about something vitally important.
I don't.
You don't? Okay, that's okay. You can hang out though and watch the racing. You don't know who they are? Stolowski now moving up to the top of the pack with a 156.5 again, barely clearing Nat JB. And apparently this is Dunn's track because I know we didn't see him qual quite as good yesterday, but he is right up there in number 3 so far, and we will see if that holds. But only 0.04 of a second separating Stolowski and Nat JB. And it'll be curious to see which one of those actually holds onto that pole position as we get down here. What's that, Ben? 0.4 of a second. That's not a lot of time. You know Red Rider? Yeah, Red Rider's cool. He's pretty chill. He makes it rain a lot, but apparently not today. You feeling better? Say hello to everybody. Say hi, everybody. Why? Oh, I got told again this morning that I am quite poggers, by the way. I am. Those are for LED lighting. I probably left them up there, so they go with the rest of the stuff out in the garage. But I got to get back to these folks and tell them all about the super qualifying we have going on. Slobbery Spy still holding on to number 4. Again, all these guys in the top 5, all within 1 second of that. And Nat JB has just pushed it out. As I say that, has now pushed us down under 156 to a 1559 and taken that spot back from Stolowski by a full half a second. Nat out there just running it. Just running it hard. And now we see where basically, the top 3 are all within a second. Up until that point, the top 5 were all within about a second of each other. And we see now that has dropped back a little bit. As we fall back through the pack here, Doc Fork running mid. McAlpin GTR still 2.4 off the pace. And Electric with a 2.6. Steadfast Bigelow, Lightfoot, BK Ferrari, and Chief Blaze have all set times, as well as Red Rider, who, given how he's driving, looks like he might have engine map 8 set again. Someone might want to check with him on that. I'm not 100% sure. But Dan 00 Alpha and Thorngeek have yet to set a qualifying lap with a little under 7 minutes left to go. Yeah, Ferris, it's too bad you can't make it in, man. It's fun racing, but I know my limits, and I decided, bye, son. I decided I won't be running in the summer because talking about practice, I do not have time to practice for racing, and I really need to if I'm going to do any kind of good at all, given I don't have the experience. Done back to the pits. See if he can make an adjustment, make up a little bit of time. It's going to be awful hard for people to catch Nat. I think, talking about the guys we race with, Stolowski certainly could put it down. Dunn, I think, is one. Slobbery has been holding right up there. I could certainly see him tightening it up well within that 1 second space, right? All these guys run really hard. And honestly, same with Doc Fork and B Fife, who we know runs right up there with Nat, typically running 1 and 2, gunning for each other until Nat somehow a lot of times opens it up or something happens that, but Fife typically is sticking right with him. As we check back through the pack as things settle down a little bit for the final 5 minutes. Dunn still in the pits. Stolowski still out running, trying to bring that time in. I'm going to go down here. And we're going to put ourselves on McAlpin. And we're going to hit drive. And we're going to try and keep this helicopter view through the rest of qualifying and hopefully through the first lap of the race, guys. Again, we missed some action yesterday due to the camera being just way too close to the drivers, and I'd like, at least for the first lap, to be able to pull that back a little bit. Let's take bets on how Pete's race will be ruined this time, or how many incidents caused by those who were used to see causing them. Max, I'll tell you what, y'all can bet away, and we will see. Now, Pete, I do feel bad for Pete because the guy runs so hard, and if you guys watch his stream, like, I don't know how this cat does it. And I know he told me he's got a monitor right above where he's actually driving, so he can read the chat, but I don't know how he reads the chat and responds to people while he's driving. I can't even play with my MFD during a race, much less be talking to y'all, right? And that's why, any streams I do where I am racing, I tend to check on the chat, off my phone while I'm in the pits or while, in between laps or what have you, particularly during Friday night drinking and driving. So it amazes me he can do that and still keep pace. So it will be curious to see how he does today and what causes the issue. Now, as regards to incidents, listen, we've talked about Doc Fork. Cat has pace. Okay? Cat really has pace. You can't take that away from him. Where the concern is that his pace tends to interfere with other people, as we just saw right there. And it's not always because he hits somebody, it's not always because he throws himself off the track because he's pushing too hard. I don't know if he doesn't know the limits of the vehicle. I don't know. I don't know. I know he drives fast, but he's also wicked aggressive and tries to clip off every spare second he can. So you're right, Max. It will be curious to see how these two do today, and that's part of why I want this pulled back view for that first lap, because coming down into T1 right here where we're watching Doc Fork go through, again, it's not a chicane, but it's just like Monza. These guys come off a long straight stretch and have to hammer down the brakes, get slowed down, get down into first gear, and make that first corner. And these are the types of tracks. I mean, look, we can talk about Spa, right? And you can say, well, Spa's an insane, opening lap. But Eau Rouge and Réunion are fast corners, right? You're lifting or you're flattening it out if you're done, right? I guess, although he doesn't actually do that. You're lifting. You're not hitting the brakes typically. So everyone's going through fast, and as long as everyone keeps their head on a swivel, pays attention to what's going around them, you can actually get through there up onto the Kemmel Straight relatively easy without too many incidents. Particularly if someone does throw it, they spin off, off to the right, past the pit exit, or into the pit exit, I should say. But these tracks, again, like here, like Monza, what's another one we could talk about? But basically, these long straight runs, guys are running fast, even though your start-finish line is halfway down. It's not even halfway down. It's only a third of the way down. You're up into fifth gear even on the first lap by the time you get to this corner and have to start getting on the brakes. And now, we know what happens in real life traffic when we get on the brakes, right? It's a rubber banding effect. So if you're not paying attention, if you're not ready to brake early, if you're not ready to hold back and not try to send it into that first corner, you're in trouble, 100%, and you're going to cause an incident with somebody else. Absolutely. So we will see what happens during this. As we see and wind down here for the last minute and a half, we've got Nat JB still leading on pole with that 155.9. Stolowski has not made up any time, and I think he's basically said, I'm good to go in position 2, half a second off the pace. And if we take a look at the timetables, Nat is holding all 3 purples in all 3 sectors, and really just laid it out with a Stolowski actually up by a 0.7 seconds. Dunn right behind him right now, Slobbery Spy and Donkey Pete finishing out your top 5. We've also got, to round out the 10, B5 Fork, Yash Joshi, Steadfast, and Bigelow for your top 10 with 52 seconds left. We might see a little motion, right? We might see a position or 2 swap here between now and the end of qualifying, but more than likely, this is where it's going to land for the most part. And with that said, I'm going to drop myself on Steadfast and try and let this finish out. We have a special guest joining us. He didn't announce himself, but I heard noises in my ear. So I want everyone to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, and race car driver, my hetero life mate, Chief Blaze, to the stream.
What up?
What's going on, man?
Chilling.
Chilling?
I'm 4 seconds off the pace.
No, you're not.
We'll see how this goes.
You're
well, 4 seconds off my next battle. Yeah.
You're 9 seconds off the pace.
No, I go by the closest back
Gotcha.
marker. That's
Yeah,
how
but
far off the pace I am.
I'm kind of wondering myself what happened with Dan and Thorngy. I mean, Dan runs pretty good racing. Oh, there. Oh no. Now you're only 3 seconds back, Chief.
Yeah.
Because Dan just took that position from you.
I think I can brake a lot less on this track than I do. But
Thorngeek has yet to set a time. And we are missing Pierre today as well, so hopefully he'll be back. Does your son like racing? No, he plays Fortnite and Knockout City and Rust, and he's 14, so he plays twitchy shooters that I can't play anymore because I'm too old for it. So, shit, I want to switch up to Yash Joshi here, sitting at number 8. Actually, we'll go with Doc Fork with the end of qualifying coming. So, guys, I'm going to try and stay with the race here. We'll see what happens. The Xbox is really weird when it comes to going from qualification to racing with spectating. I really want to try and stay with it. They've made some improvements to the spectator mode. I'm afraid, however, what will happen is after the formation lap, we will be stuck on one car for the entire race. So I may, what I may do is wait till the first lap or 2 are gone, drop out, and come back in. because it may be what we have to do in order to be able to check out the whole track and the whole field. So there is your lineup for today's 45 minutes at the Nürburgring. Nat, JB, and Stolowski in row 1, Dunn and Slobbery row 2, Donkey, Pete, and B-Fight bringing up row 3, and Doc, Fork, Yes, Joshi row 4, and Steadfast and Bigelow in row 5 rounds out your top 10. Behind them, McAlpin, again, who we haven't seen in a while, so we'll see how this goes. McAlpin, Electric, Red Rider, BK Ferrari, BB Lightfoot, Dan, 00 Alpha, just sneaking in a time at the end of qualifying, and Chief Blaze and Thorngeek bringing up side by side at the back of the pack. So what are you looking for today, Chief?
What's up?
What are you looking for today? How do you think you're going to do today?
I would like to sneak out a points finish. I've been in the points twice with 1 lap to go and lost it both times to no fault of my own. So
True.
But based on that, I don't know. I think there's something to be said with Zorax. Like, my qualifying laps are always shit, but once I'm behind cars, you can adjust and see where other people are braking and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Again,
I mean,
if you were listening
I just
before,
like to gain a couple places, but
yeah. No, I think you can do that, man. We know how you race.
just start ahead of where I finished is always first. I mean, finish ahead of where I started is always my goal. Wow, that weed's fucking working today, I guess.
I guess so. Hey,
Jesus.
Zorax, correct me if I'm wrong, but today's race does have a mandatory pit with gas, fuel, and tires, correct? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Zorax. So yeah, everybody, today's race does have a mandatory pit stop. Fuel and tires required. No pit window, so you can take that stop at any time. Now, we've seen some of these guys front load. They go in after 10, 15 minutes and want to run out the rest of the race. We've seen some that backload, right, where they wait as long as possible before they take that pit stop. There's a strategy to both.
Steadfast.
Yeah, Steadfast, he's the one that likes to stay out as long as possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. But then again, a lot of times what happens too is, lap 1 happens and we've got Electric with a pit start. That happened yesterday too. I'm not quite sure
He must not be
why.
turning on his car in time.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why. I think that happened yesterday as well. But here we go for our formation lap. The guys will go single file. And again, guys, I'm going to stay focused on Doc Fork right now because he's at number 7. Okay. So as we follow these guys, and I'm going to keep this camera angle pulled out. If I figure out that I cannot, in fact, change cars once the race starts, we will then have to drop out real quick. Yeah, see, I still can't return to the garage, so we'll see what happens, everybody. But for right now, we'll stick with Doc Fork because I think that'll give us the best view of the pack when we start the race. God, I hate their spectator mode so much. Electric, yeah. Max.
Get in your chair and it just doesn't feel right anymore. Like, you didn't change anything. I don't know. Maybe I got wider. Maybe that's why it feels off.
Well, I just last night folded my chair up so the wife and put it away. I had that play seat challenge and I folded it up and out of the way so the wife and I could watch, could have movie night while the kid was at prom. So I'm sure it'll feel all different when I set it back down.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I don't know how much I'll be using it between now and the time my CSL DD shows up. Living the dream. Now, for anybody who's uninitiated, you should be aware that during the formation lap, let me see if I can. I'm probably going to screw this up. Yeah, it's not going to show it. I was kind of hoping it would show. So basically, during a formation lap, again, for anybody who's uninitiated and hasn't done this, you have a gauge in front of you that tells you how fast you can go, but everybody's gauge is a little different, so that's why you won't see these guys staying equidistant, and also collision is turned off. So again, as we look right there at, who's that, probably Fife and Fork, and as these guys stack up in that corner, there's no collision, so they can't run into each other. You end up driving through cars in front of you, which gets really interesting when you do it right before a corner and suddenly can't see where you're going and tell where the turn is, and that's why you may see some of these guys rubber band. You may see them get weird in the corners because if they're in the middle of another car and can't see, they didn't know they were supposed to turn there, right? So, and as we come to the end of the formation lap, they'll get the alert to go into double file. They have to stay either left or right of the track, depending on their position. Okay, They double file, and as we come around onto the straight heading towards the start-finish line, before the green light, they will have to hold about 70 kilometers an hour. Once everybody bunches up and are where they're supposed to be, the green light trips, and it's off to the races. And it looks like right here is where the double file warning just came in as we see the cars start to line up. And we get ready for race day. Green Hell Racing. Welcome to Nürburgring. And it's part of the Nordschleife. I have to say that right. Zorix and Max were making fun of me earlier, Chief. We're not going to talk to Chief right now. We're going to let him concentrate, because coming out of the pits is going to be Electric, and who will be coming out behind Chief, and he will have to contend with that today.
Brake checking him.
I don't I don't want to hear it. Cars are lined up as we come down towards the start-finish line, folks. Let's go racing. Green light. Coming down the straight. Everybody's going to hammer down. Can't even see who's in first at this point because it didn't even give me my names over the cars. But that looks like... yeah. And we stack up going into T1. Some bumping going on. People running wide. But clean so far. I don't see any issues at this point. As we see Doc Fork running a little wide. Positions are changing up through the field. I see Dunn running in third in that Audi. Slobbery Spy in fourth right now with Donkey Pete holding fifth. Now that's telling me that Stolowski and Nat are running right up front at this point. Oh, now I can return to the garage. So we're going to do that. And now, perfect. This is what we want, folks. Helicopter racing. Let's follow these guys as they start opening up and things spread out. And we jump back through the field here to look for incidents. Coming into the carousel at the bottom of the Schumacher S. Running tight. B5 going to make a move on Donkey Pete. Pete closes the door on him. Stolowski running way wide. Way wide. But again, what am I looking at here? Doc Fork. We got a nice little pack forming right here with Doc Fork, Bigelow, Ferrari, and Josh. As we stay at the head of this, BK Ferrari just trying to put it right on the back end of Deuce Bigelow. Deuce Bigelow. He picks that name and then expects me not to call him Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo. And right there, we have finished out our first lap, folks. Nat JB taking that first lap with Dunn getting ahead of Slobbery Spy, Donkey Pete, and Stolowski, who slipped back. Now on the bumper of Nat JB. And Stolowski must have gone wide somewhere, because that cat's got speed. But so far, everybody, what looks to be a clean race. I'm sure Chief's going to let us know if he sees any tomfoolery at the back of the pack as he rides that Mercedes, which I know he's not used to. He's probably not feeling good about himself today. He's not in the boat lately. Stolowski right on the back end. Well, was right on the back end of Donkey Pete, but that's opened up a little bit now. B-Fife not giving Stolowski any kind of a break, though. He is holding the line real close. With Doc Fork, Bigelow, BK Ferrari, and Yash Joshi rounding out your top 10 after one full lap. And Donkey Pete holding pace with Stolowski right now. Stolowski. As we wait and see as things start to tighten up while folks come around. Electric ECC starting all the way back in 16th after that pit start. But BB Lightfoot and Steadfast have both already cleared their pit stops. Well, that was quick. And we take a look out front again. Nat JB has opened it up on Dunn out to 1.7 seconds. But Stolowski keeps that line on Slobbery. as they come around to the start finish line once again to start lap 3. We can see there's a lot of tight races going on right now, guys. Under a second in a lot of different places, so I'm going to do my best to keep it up. McAlpin coming up on Josh into T1, who's right on the back end of BK Ferrari. McAlpin's made that move. We'll wait and see if Josh can get back in front, or if McAlpin's going to take it to Ferrari. Dan 00 Alpha back here running right up on the back end of Chief Blaze in that green Mercedes with electric ECC right behind him. And there we go, Dan making his move on Chief. Chief trying to close that door and holds the position through the carousel heading up into Schumacher S. Oh, and Electric has just shoved Dan around the corner, but gave that position back to Dan. So lost a little bit of time on Chief, but Electric definitely gave him a little push around the carousel down there at the bottom of the hill. Stolowski about to make a move. Let's go take a look. Thank you. And Stolowski's off the track. He is no longer making a move on Slobbery Spy. Slobbery now has to worry about Donkey Pete and Bigelow right up on him. Huffmanic, what's going on, man? Welcome to today's stream. We had a clean lap 1, and there's where your standings are right now. Stolowski has now entered the pits, and I think he may have teleported himself there. He was a little far around the track to be there already, and that is going to be a huge penalty for...
Yeah, he was spun around. I don't know what happened, but Fork was nearby, so
was he?
I have my suspicions.
Gotcha.
I'm a pretty good detective.
Well, that I did not catch, but I know he was looking to make that move, and then we lost him, so...
I don't know if it's my feedback or what, but the car is just like so loose. Quite frustrating.
And NatJB has opened it up on Dunn up front up to 2.9 seconds, and Slobbery even further back with running 6.7. So our front of the pack's pretty well set, with Donkey Pete though right up on him, and Bigelow not far behind, chasing him down with B Fife running right there. From there we head back through the count. McAlpin has moved up, made that move on Yes Joshua that we saw a little earlier, and BK Ferrari and Red Rider up into 10th now, but has still not cleared his pit stop, so that's going to obviously change up later. Thorngeek has also moved up into number 11. Doc Fork back into number 12. Actually just made the move on Thorngeek, so that will change and update here in just a second, but it looks at least like it was a clean pass. Doc Fork already ahead of Chief Blaze, so we should be clear there.
Yeah, he'll go off the track.
Fun adventures for now.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't have the pace to catch him unless he picks up.
Thorngeek sliding wide there and giving some more time up to Doc Fork. So we take another look at Donkey Pete. Coming up behind Slobbery Spy. Not too far back, right? Keeping it within a second, so definitely within striking distance, particularly coming down into T1. If somebody misses a break point or swings wide, Pete's certainly got the opportunity right there to make a move. And right behind them, B Fife and Bigelow sticking together as well. The field's spread out a little bit at this point. Thorngeek, he's still holding back off Doc Fork, but now Red Rider, as we take a look, him driving the Mercedes today. Red Rider. And you guys are going to see frozen picture one quick second because the Xbox app is stupid. There you go, we're back. Keep an eye on Red Rider with Doc Fork coming up behind him. Still 1.5 back, but certainly not very far in the Doc Fork handbook of GT3 racing. We've seen him make that up on faster people. We're going to come down the hill now here, and I think this is where we'll really start to see it tighten up before we head up into Schumacher. I see Donkey Pete has closed in on Slobbery Spy as we go take a look up there real quick. Doc Fork closed that gap fast, taking a second off and down now to only half a second back. Hey, Tigo, thanks for the follow, man. Or TG. Actually, no, I take that back. You're not Tigo. TG0198. Thank you, because I know that's a 0 and not an O, as I was argued with about a week ago in how to pronounce your name. Doc Fork making his move on Red Rider's bumper. Red losing it a little bit, but holding control. I don't think there was contact. I think Red slid well after Doc Fork was off that bumper, so I don't think there was any contact
if
there.
Fork hits Red, I can't wait to see the wrath that would come down. Oh, that would make my day.
The contest you've all been waiting for. Doc Fork now 2/10 off of Red and holding right with him. But again, in that particular situation, it really looked to me like Red kind of swiveled the back end of the car. After there was any possibility of contact. Like the cars had, there were 2 car lengths between them at that point. I think he just came out of the corner a little hard.
Hey, y'all there?
Is that Stolowski?
Yeah.
What happened, buddy? Give us the lowdown. And I apologize now if I interrupt you for some quick race action because we've got Doc Fork riding on Red Rider.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to apologize to Fork because after I got spun by 5, I got into Fork, but it was like my internet was all over the place.
Oh, no kidding. So, yeah, it looked like you teleported back to the pit, so is your race over for today?
Well, yeah. I quit. Well, here's what happened. So, formation lap, like, my internet just started going crazy. Like, people were driving sideways in front of me, like teleporting all over the place. Like, I thought I was about to lag out.
Oh, no kidding.
And then, so it kind of stabilized before the start, but I was getting a lot of rubber banding still. And then got the lead, turn 1, and then I got a terrible run out of the hairpin. Shorty went side by side with me through there, which I'm not blaming him for it, but like you gotta realize, like trying to go too wide through there is never gonna work.
Okay.
So, but like he had a big run, so I can't be mad at him. But so then that happened, and then I somehow got 26 seconds of damage from that. And then got back on track. Fucking people were rubber banding all over the place, and I don't even. Oh yeah, I think I was battling Slobbery, right?
Okay.
And he's having internet problems too, so we were both struggling with that. And I think that I'm trying to remember what happened. We were about to go too wide through the same place me and Shorty went. And when we got up to it, we were both thinking the same thing. Both of us tried to back out of it, and that ended up giving B5 a huge run on us on exit. And so I was out on that left exit curb, and all I did was I tried to move back onto the track. Like I was staying on the left side of the track. I just had to move right a little bit to get off that curb before I ran into the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And B5 just left me nothing, and I spun right there.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Well, you got through all that. That sucks. Your race is done, though. But we are still watching, and this is, guys, I'm looking down through the list there, and really, this is where the action is. Red Rider holding Fork at bay, and listen, guys, we all know Fork's aggressive, right? Everybody here knows that. Everybody who races with him knows that. Chief, I know you know it. But I will say this, today, and only today, right now, he is playing extremely clean with Red. Like, he is holding on.
He'll get castrated if he does something dumb.
He is really, really. I mean, Red's run wide in the left-hander at the top of the Schumacher straight. He has run wide there at least 1 lap, if not 2. And Fork had the opportunity, I think, to push a little bit and get there, and didn't take it. Right. So.
Hey, put it on McAlpine.
McAlpine, where's he running? Oh, he is up tight.
7. I think he might go for something in turn 1 here.
Let's take a look at McAlpine. running right up on Bigelow.
Yeah, he's gonna go for something here. He needs to get in that slipstream. Come on.
Looks like Bigelow's got a little bit more pace on him coming down the hill, right? Like he stretched it out
Bigelow's
just a
going
little
deep.
bit.
Oh, they both went deep.
Oh, yep. And who's
He
coming?
had it.
Josh is right there with him, though. And making... Oh, no, he's going to go wide in turn 2.
What happened to Red?
Oh, yep,
This
Red
is
Rider.
fun.
Doc Fork's there with Thorn Geek, and Thorn Geek's
Yeah.
got... Who's
Thorn
that?
Geek's moving on Dan. I think he's gonna make it stick in turn 2. Yeah.
Yep, Thorn Geek ran out ahead of...
Wait, what
Red
just
Rider's
happened?
coming back up now.
Did something just happen to Dan? Oh, he just back. Oh, Dan's a couple laps down. I don't know
Yeah,
what happened there.
Dan's back marker for these guys. Why are my names not on? This bugs the living hell out of me. This freaking game, I swear to God. Stand by, guys. It is enabled. Okay, so let's disable it. And let's go back and enable it and see if we get our names back. Maybe they don't show in the helicopter view. Yeah, I guess not. Red Rider, now behind Doc Fork. We'll have to see if there was an incident there. We didn't catch it.
Oh, wait, I can maybe.
But
Hold on.
McAlpin, Josh, and Bigelow still running right together. So we may have a nice little battle forming up right here. Red lost 2
I'll let
places
you
when
know what
Fork
happened to
passed him.
Red in just a minute.
So Red lost 2 places when Fork passed. I'm very curious to know if Red lost it or if Fork forked him.
Hold up.
From Max Charb. So again, Bigelow, McAlpin, and Josh running together.
I suck balls at this track. That's all I know.
Right into... Oh, and Bigelow kicked out wide. There was no contact, but it looks like Bigelow lost control and let McAlpin
Ooh.
take it, along with Yash Joshi, who has now jumped in front of McAlpin. So the little bit of action there. But
All
it
right,
almost
here's what
looked like Bigelow lost it and gave up the position rather than try and cut back. He went deep into T1 again, and rather than try and cut back hard, he gave it up to those 2 guys, and then they were able to play with Yash Joshi coming out in position 7 and McAlpin right behind him. So we'll continue to watch these guys. Go ahead, Stolowski.
Here's what happened to Red. It was a pack of 3 running Red, Fork, and then Thorn Geek. Fork got alongside going into the final chicane, and he made the move up the inside, and then with Red on the outside, he got rear-ended by Thorn Geek and sent to the gravel.
Fork did,
So
or Red
it wasn't Fork. It was actually, well, Fork made the move that kind of caused it, but it was Thorn Geek that hit him.
hit Red.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fork did nothing.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you for that.
I'll still play them on Fork.
Now.
Everyone just jumps on him instantly.
Things have spread out quite a bit through the back of the pack here. If we take a look, Nat JB still running up front real hard. And just so you guys know, Nat JB is no longer Shorty. He changed his name on Discord as well. So it's just Nat JB now. Flat.
Oh, really?
I did see that.
Yeah, he sent me a message. He's like, you don't have to reference it anymore. I changed my name. Perfect. Thanks, man. Dunn sitting about 7 seconds back, holding in number 2. Slobbery Spy, number 3. B-Fife, and Donkey Pete rounding out your top 5. And with the move made earlier, Yash Joshi. Oh, wait, this is traded up again. These guys are just going to keep going back and forth. McAlpin was back in front of Josh. Josh just took it back, and now they're about side by side coming around with Bigelow just sitting back a little bit. I think,
he's just watching.
Again, if we talk about this, right, they're running a pack of 3, but if I'm Bigelow, man, you 2 tussle. Figure it out, and then I will take whoever's left, right?
Exactly.
But there's no way I'm going to mess myself up trying to get into a pack of 3. Just keep yourself within a second of the pace and let them play. It's like having cats, right? I got 2 cats in this house. They're brothers. They once in a while will decide they're going to have a fight. I don't get involved until one of them's really getting hurt, right? Let them scrap. Coming down around the carousel. Josh still out in front of McAlpin, but McAlpin's giving him no breathing room whatsoever. And again, to your point, Stolowski, Bigelow's just kind of sitting back and saying, you know what, go for it, boys. I'll be here when you're done. McAlpin swinging out. Made the pass. Josh slowed right back coming up the hill. And now McAlpin back out front and stretching it out rather quickly. And we'll see if he can hold it this time.
Oh my God.
But it looks like we got another one going. Doc Fork up on the back of BK Ferrari now. Holding in 9th and 10th, so we're talking for points. Red Rider well back off of that, so this is our next closest battle. And McAlpine has taken that place. Oh yeah, we said that. He got it. Sorry. And we'll see if Bigelow tries to make a move. But again, we've got BK Ferrari and Doc Fork playing, coming up around the back of the track. Just gone through this chicane.
Fork's in the pits.
Yep, Fork has just pitted.
He's pitting.
Perfect. Well, that'll spread that out a little bit. So pit stops are going to start rolling. And again, to the uninitiated, there is a required pit stop for this race. You must take on fuel. You must change your tires. So you're talking at least 30 seconds.
No. Just fuel.
No, that's not what Zorax told.
It's just fuel.
That's
I'm
not
looking,
what
dude.
Zorax-
I'm
just
in
telling
the
you what
race,
Zorax
and you're
told
trying
me.
to argue with me.
I'm not arguing
Yeah,
with you. I'm telling you what
it's
Zorax
refuel
told me.
only.
Well,
It's
Zorax
refuel
didn't
only.
tell me that. He lied then.
Well,
Well,
Zorax is wrong.
The
He ain't
server
here.
probably fucked up and didn't check the tires. It does that sometimes.
No, I just going by what Zorax told me.
Yeah, it's supposed to be tires and refuel. That's what it always is. But it does just say refuel right now.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. What the fuck is going on with my wheel? I have to like 180-degree turn this motherfucker. What the fuck?
Jesus. You're hyping.
I don't even have any damage.
Look like Fork is either changing tires or repairing the damage I gave him.
Definitely there for a few seconds. He'll be coming out soon. Yes, Joshy, right up on now. Bigelow has made the move.
Repaired damage.
Bigelow made the move and got ahead of Joshy while we were checking on everybody. But we're going to start seeing pit stops clear, folks. So as that happens, again, if the guys are doing their tire change and refueling, you're talking about a minimum 30 seconds, right? If they repair damage, it obviously gets added on top of that, depending on how much they have. Me personally, unless it's affecting how the car drives, I don't repair damage. I just go. Whatever. I'm not fast enough to worry about it. Maybe Stolowski does something different. I don't know.
As a general rule, if it's like 15 seconds or less, you're better off not, unless it's an enduro.
Yeah, just driving it, right? Yeah. And
It's
typically
like 20 seconds is when it really starts hampering you.
Okay. But guys are going to start spreading out. We've seen things spread out a little bit here. Now, no real hard battles going on. Bigelow's opened it up in front of Josh with BK Ferrari now well back from him. And we'll take a look at Thorngeek heading into the pits now. So as these guys start to clear their pit stops, it's about, we talked about earlier about that front load or rear load on when do you take your pit. We've still got 22 minutes of racing left. So right at the halfway point, and folks are starting to drop in. We didn't see a lot of pit stops early. We did see, we saw Steadfast, who was in early. That could have been because of damage. We saw Lightfoot and Electric all in the pits early. And obviously we saw Stolowski, who decided, I'm done today. And that's okay, too.
Internet problems.
Yeah, with internet issues and everything else. So, we've got a couple guys here that are going to start jumping up through the ranks because they've already cleared their pit. But that's only depends on how close they are, because you've only, if you're outside of 30 seconds, you may not be able to, gain those positions. Take a look towards the front of the pack with Donkey Pete and B Fife. Dan has left the race. Okay, so TG0 is saying it's only supposed to be fuel for the Sunday races.
Oh, okay.
He's saying it's only supposed to be fuel. So again, Zorax was wrong. Imagine that. German being wrong. Nat is now into the pits and has dropped behind Dunn for first position.
I can tell you Dunn is going long.
He likes to stay out,
him.
doesn't he?
Yeah, he filled up for about at least 15 laps.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'd expect him around lap 14 to 16.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Insider information.
So everybody in the chat, do me a favor to please leave your comments on, is this view better, worse? You know, should I be going in the car? Tell me what you guys want to see, because this is I do this for you guys so you have something to watch afterwards. So, and we've got number 4, Nat, with a stop-go 30-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that is going to knock him back quite a ways.
Oh yeah, you never want that shit.
That wasn't for speeding in the pit lane. That was for taking me out.
No, that was for speeding in the pit lane. Poor guy. He has cleared the pit stop, but he's going to have to go in and do another one, which is really too bad.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to get points with that.
Yeah, but McAlpin, BK is just coming out, and Chief Blaze is now in the pits, just showing up. McAlpin's still sitting. And I'm sorry, BK just got a stop go for race control. What does that mean? It didn't say for speeding, it said for race control. Oh, there we go. Speeding in the pit lane. 333. We've got another one. McAlpin. Speeding in the pit lane. Wow. Wow.
Shit's getting wild.
That is getting wild. Chief, you better slow it down coming out of the pits, sir. Apparently, the steward is on top of it today.
All right, I reset my wheel.
Helicopter view is good. When there's a battle, either that or the.
Well, you don't get it. You don't get it out of the pits. You get it in the pits. So, Chief's fate is already determined here. We just got to find out.
Yep. Chief Blaze with a stop and go from race control for speeding in the pit lane.
What the fuck?
Now, here's the curious part. The guys that pitted early didn't get that, right?
No. What the fuck is going on?
So,
did you even think it was close?
Guys. Yash has...
No, I was in first gear way too soon with my pit limiter on because I didn't know where the line was. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yash Josh has just come into the pits. We'll see if he picks one up. But 5, count them, folks,
Fucking
5 stop-go 30-second penalties now is going to toss this board all kinds of crazy, and especially if they continue to show up.
I protest.
You can protest all you want. The game has made its decision, sir.
Give me 30 seconds back in my race, Sorax. I don't know what you did to this shit, but it's bullshit.
It's more like a minute.
So now again, our top 4 runners, Dunn, Slobbery Spy, Duncan Pete, and Bigelow, have yet
Stop and go?
clear
Not
their
even a
pit.
drive-through?
Yash Josh just got a pit lane, but he got a drive-through. He did not.
What?
He got a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane, but no stop-go. Only a drive-through.
This is not consistent. This is horseshit.
That doesn't make any sense.
I would tend to agree. B-Fife now in the pits, along with, nope, Steadfast
No,
still
B5's
outrunning.
leaving the pits. See, B5 just left. He didn't get a penalty.
B-Fife cleared without a problem.
Donkey Pete, go. You see how slow I'm going? That means fucking drive.
Donkey Pete just getting around Chief Blaze as the black marker. So that puts Dunn, Slobbery Spy, and Donkey Pete on podium right now. Now, obviously, those 3 have not yet taken their pit stops, right? We're going to have to see what happens with them, and we still got Bigelow in number 4, who has also not taken his.
Was B5 ahead of Donkey
Someone
Pete?
take out the pit sign? Because it's not there. Well, my race is fucked.
Chief Blaze with the stop-go sitting down there, back in the pits. Bigelow has now come into the pits. Stop-go is cleared for number 77, BK Ferrari.
Did Nat come back in to serve his penalty?
Yes,
because it's cleared.
Yep.
All right.
Came in.
I thought he would have lost more time.
Nope. He ran right through that next lap. He went right in.
Okay.
So Nat JB now running. That puts him in 10th. We've got Bigelow coming into the pits. Yash Josh, he still has to clear his drive-through, and Chief Blaze still needing to clear his 30-second stop-go. As we take a look at Bigelow, we'll see what happens with him while he's in the pits. I wonder if that's it, Chief. You said the sign wasn't there. I wonder if somebody walloped it when they came in. So now nobody's sure where the line is. And
It's very possible.
and now
I was in first, like way before it, because I couldn't see the pit sign. So I still don't know how I got.
420. Chief Blaze has
Bro.
cleared his stop-go penalty. Yes, Josh is now back into the pits, and Bigelow, it looks like, did not pick one up. He is back out on track, and he is clear.
I think Thorne was waiting for Steadfast to go by, but man, he was just stopped on the pit entrance.
Now,
Dunn's in the pits.
TG0, Dunn's heading in. Perfect.
Also, I can confirm the pit limit sign is gone.
Nice.
Now, looking in the chat here, race control is on crack. No, they're on it. Zorax, what happened? Basically, we just had like 5 stop-goes, but
Everybody got a
the
stop
pit
go.
limit
You
sign
get a
is not
stop
there.
go. Yeah.
The pit limit sign is
Well,
not
everyone
there,
got a
so-
stop go except for the one that got a drive through for some reason.
Yeah, and one got a
Yeah.
drive-through. Now, TG0 is saying DT, the drive-through is for less overspeed, he believes. So, I don't know
What?
if there's a rating there. Well, in other words, if I come in at
Yeah.
90 and Chief came in at
Came in
70,
slightly slower.
you know,
yeah.
maybe Chief gets the drive-through and I get the stop-go, right? So,
Well, see, I do this thing where, like, when I come in the pits and I feel like I sped through the sign, I like brake extra after the limit sign, and it doesn't make sense, but I swear it works.
so done.
Like if you just
Yeah, but that's like driving
give
at
up some
Spa,
time.
right? When we did the 4 hours at Spa, I was outside the limits coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion every time, and all it did was said warning for track limits because I lifted, right?
Yeah.
So if it feels like you lifted and you didn't gain anything, you don't get hit with a penalty.
You'll only get a track limit penalty if you stay flat.
Yeah. Yep. So Dunn has cleared his pit stop without penalty, leaving Slobbery Spy and Donkey Pete up front, running 1 and 2, but yet to clear their stops. So as the guys clear these, we're going to see how the field lines up. BB Lightfoot, only half a second off of Nat JB right now.
Dunn's looking good for his first win here.
He is, yeah, because he's only 25 seconds back from Pete, which means, are the pit stops running 30 seconds if they're not doing tires? No, probably not, huh? But he should
No.
be able to make that up.
No, well, yeah, no, he's definitely in P1.
Okay. I want to take a look up and see when these guys go in. Donkey Pete staying out for another lap. We'll see if today's
Both
his
of
day
them,
to
yeah.
run out of fuel again. And Slobbery Spy has already cleared pits and continued, or not cleared his pit stop, but I say cleared the pit entrance and has continued for another lap. 5 over is 5 over the limit is a drive-through, or sorry, less than 5 over the limit is a drive-through. Greater than 5 over the limit, stop go 30. Tigo says possibly replace 5 with 3 for miles per hour.
That would make sense.
Yep. So give us a little insight there. Chief Blaze still running strong. Ahead of Thorn Geek. Hey Chief, at least you can say you beat Stolowski for a race, right?
Yeah, that's true.
No matter what, you could quit right now and you'd still come in ahead of Stolowski.
Country ass bumpkin internet over here.
I don't know if you can make that claim. I mean, Red has that country bumpkin internet and he's doing just fine.
Well, his internet didn't have a seizure right before the start.
Red Rider running in 12th. Everybody is way spread out at this point, folks. We're not seeing any real close battles yet.
Yeah, those stop goes
Start-
kind of fucked everyone.
Start to form as things tighten up. Welcome. What's up, buddy? Everybody was wondering if you like racing. I told him no, you don't like racing. Yeah, I know you don't. So, okay, bye then. All right, buddy. Slobbery Spy still holding on to first right now with Donkey Pete 5 seconds off. Trying to catch these guys, and let's see if either one of them hits pit. Slobbery Spy is going to be up first, coming through the chicane now.
Nope. Not Slobbery.
Nope. Slobbery's staying out, and Pete has
Donkey.
continued to do so as well.
Yep.
Hasn't Pete decided, like didn't he run out of race, like either one or possibly 2 races so far?
Was it I think he ran out yesterday, didn't he?
That's what, yeah. We got a nice wide spread on everybody right now, folks, and no real battles. Everybody can cruise at this point. Those pit stops spread everyone out, especially with the stop goes and the drive-throughs.
I'd say the one to keep your eye on is Shorty, or Nat JB now.
I've got to imagine he's going to climb the field, right? I mean, we know the pace
Yeah.
this cat runs. There's no way he sits back only 4.8 off Josh, and in 10 minutes doesn't it take up at least one, if not two places. But granted, again, Doc Fork's got the pace. Can he race clean and keep himself out of trouble for the next 10 minutes? Well, that remains to be seen, right?
Well, see, and I know what Nat's capable of here. Me and him did a wild card, like invitational race in another league together.
Okay.
And I think it was like 45 minutes. We both had to start from the pit lane, and he just flew through the field, won the race without. I mean, I think he won by like 30 seconds.
Wow. And Doc Fork goes a mowing
Oh shit!
on the back end coming through the chicane. He decided to cut the grass back there, pulling a Red Rider. As we know, Red sometimes likes to cut the grass. We'll take another look at Slobbery and Donkey Pete as they come up through the back straight into the chicane. We'll see if they decide they're gonna go into the pits this time. Slobbery hitting first. Yep, and Slobbery's into the pits for this lap. Donkey Pete has said, yep, I'm going to go ahead and follow you, buddy. Let's get in there because I don't want to run out of gas again. But as we have a break here with some spread, folks, we'll focus up on Dunn, see if he can claim back that P1 with those two in the pits, which he should be able to do.
They were so cautious with that pit limit line.
But I'm just going to mention everybody in the chat, I'd like y'all to do me a favor. Y'all know somebody. You can see there on the screen, going to follow our goal for the end of July of 200 people. I would love for 200 people to be following and get told when these guys are racing. So follow, spread the love. Again, go take a look at Donkey Pete.
Thorn Geek has crashed.
Thorn Geek has crashed. I think that might be okay. Yep, Thorn Geek is off track and sitting in the sand, not moving. But Dunn, well on
He's
and around.
taking the lead.
Drive-through pit lane for Donkey Pete.
What?
Donkey Pete pulls the drive-through.
I don't know about that one because I was watching him as he came in, and there's no way.
Yeah, that's exactly how mine was.
Donkey Pete pulls the drive-through. Listen, you guys can't have it both ways. You get no rain and penalties, or you get penalties and no rain. There's only two. Yeah, that's the only way it's going to work. Okay.
Something's up with this because he was going so slow.
So as of right now, Dunn should be in P1.
Yes.
Well on and ahead, stretched out in front of Slobbery Spy, because Slobbery is back out on track with no penalty. So Donkey Pete pulling the last of the drive-throughs today. Currently sitting in second.
Bro,
we know he's
I
going to
can't
have to
go
give
any
that up.
slower.
As Dunn stretches it out, now running. Oh, let's get our times in. Let's see how far ahead of Slobbery he is. 21 seconds. If that's correct, which I don't think it is.
It's about 21, 22.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, they're further back than I thought. So, Donkey Pete in second, but he's going to have to run that drive-through unless he wants disqualified. So, Slobbery Spy is going to take that position back. And we'll see who else. At least it's just a drive-through for him.
Well, that means Bigelow. Well, actually, yeah. Bigelow should be in position to take third once he serves that.
I don't know, though.
Close enough.
He's 29 seconds back from Slobbery Spy. So call it 32 seconds.
It's going to be close.
Total? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tight one. So that may be where we want to keep
I'm not sure
focus.
what the delta is.
And it looks like Thorn Geek has decided that he was done for today. I wish guys wouldn't quit. I wish they'd stay.
Look, I don't know how much more obvious I have to be when there's a blue flag and I lift my fucking foot off the throttle. That means put your foot on the fucking throttle. Okay? Holy shit.
Who's that behind?
Okay. Hey, Donkey's in the pits for his drive-through. So, we got Bigelow coming through the chicane.
Bigelow's around, coming around the corner, hitting into the start-finish
Donkey Pete might hold on to this.
He might, yeah. Let's see. where it ends up. He's
Oh,
out of the
it's gonna be
pits.
so
Yeah.
close. It's gonna be
This
so
is going to be
close.
tight. Bigelow coming down the hill now. Nah, Donkey Pete's got this, I think, because he's already down to T1 and having to brake. Bigelow's going to have to bring him
Nat's
down.
coming up on Joshy and Fork. I have a
Can
front row seat
Bigelow
to it right
catch
now.
though? That's the question.
Nat's 4 seconds faster than Fork and 2 seconds faster than Joshy, so he should be making a move here on this lap.
Yep, I see him. We're coming into T1 right now. Joshy right up on Doc Fork. Finally getting a battle back after all these penalties. So clean race for Fork and Electric. Yeah, they did run clean today. You got to give it up to them. Listen, give credit where credit's due. Right?
Hey, there's also a battle at the back with Alpine and BK.
I see that. Listen, everybody in this world, whether I don't care if you're talking about this racing, I don't care if you're talking about your job, I don't care if you're talking about real life. Every once in a while, you got to get your PP slapped. And as long as you learn from getting your PP slapped, maybe you don't do that again. So we will see if that holds. McAlpin runs wide. Nat JB now. Let's take a look. Nat JB running up on the back of Josh.
We might send the dive bomb there. I would have.
Let's focus on Yash Joshy for now. See what Nat JB can throw down here. Take a position back before the end of the race. 4 minutes, 33 seconds left. That's not a lot of laps on a circuit this long.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now. Nat's gonna get Joshy in turn 1.
Think he's going to hold that long? He's just sitting back there biding his time, you think?
Well, Nat's, yeah, he's not gonna pass through the chicane. Only Fork will do that.
So TG0 says too late now, but the drive-through delta is 25 seconds at the Nürburgring, so it makes sense that Slobbery was, or that Donkey Pete was able to keep there, and Nat just ran wide.
Yep.
But
Eat my words.
now, well, he recovered. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to catch him by T1, but he's certainly going to recover, right?
As much as you can dive bomb turn 1 here, you gotta get a good run still.
Yeah. Yes, Josh running up on Doc Fork in T1.
Fuck.
And it looks like McAlpin just put the moves on Red Rider. As we jump over there real quick.
Yep.
With BK Ferrari coming up behind him. I can just hear Red just a yelling. Ferrari closing that gap on Red right now. Again, like to your point, Stilowski, I don't think he's close enough for a move in T1, but he's certainly not losing any pace coming down the hill either.
Yeah.
Red keeping it tight through there.
The Porsche is an interesting car here because while it's one of the strongest as far as like lap time and pace, it's not. Oh gosh, BK took a lot of liberties with the curb there. But it doesn't have the straight line speed to be reliable to overtake in turn 1. So like the Porsche, it's strong everywhere on the track, but then you get to turn 1, the best overtaking opportunity, and the guy in front of you is just going to pull away.
Yep. Coming around the start-finish line now, taking a look at Nat JB. He pulled back a little bit.
He's closer
through there. He's closer, but he was a lot closer than that coming through the chicane.
He's gonna go for a switchback.
Keeps it tight through T1 though. Josh running wide.
I think Nat's gonna be looking for a move into the hairpin.
All three of these guys running tight right now. BB Lightfoot back into the pits. Looks like we're losing him.
If Nat can get around him right here, he could get the move here. No.
Yeah, Josh closed the door on
Sometimes you
that
can
one.
send it around the outside there and then dive up the inside for that turn, but he didn't go for it. But right here, maybe. Let's see what Joshy's defending.
And the
He's
leader's on the
he's
final
gonna have to
lap.
switch back.
Josh keeping it tight through there. Making Nat work for it, that's for sure.
Nat's run out of time here.
Yeah, leader's already on the final lap, so we will see.
He gotta send a dive bomb, man. He's playing too safe.
He's probably. But here's the thing: if you're
Oh, here we
Nat
go.
right
Here we
now,
go.
oh, and he hit
Oh,
him.
he hit him.
He pushed him. Oh, but look at Nat. He's giving the position back. He's letting him take it. Right. So I think that's where we're gonna see this finish, right? But if you're Nat right now, look, I get it. Everybody wants to place as high as possible, right? I'm sure he loves coming in first as often as he does. But if you're Nat, are you having more fun right now than you do in the race where you're running out in number 1 and you have a 25-second lead?
Yes.
Right? So again,
absolutely.
we're not race car drivers. Nobody's getting paid to do this, right? 100%. None of us are getting paid. So if you're having more fun, do you really push that hard, or do you play it a little safe and really wait for Josh to make a mistake versus trying to push around him just to take a position right at the end of the race? You know?
Okay.
It's towards the end of the race, so I think it's better then. It's different, like, depending on what part of the race you're in, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Pulaski say, yeah.
BK Ferrari coming up on the back of Red Ryder right now.
Nat just lost an absolute ton of time on the front straight, and I don't understand why.
Maybe he has damage.
BK flashing those lights.
No, it's like he lifted.
BK just
maybe he's running out of gas.
Those lights at Red Ryder. Letting Red know he's there.
Red Ryder hates it.
And Dunn has finished up. He is your winner for today's 45 minutes at the Nürburgring.
Go Dunn. Nice job.
Knocking it back. Take a look back through the field. Slobbery's just coming around onto the start-finish straight now.
You need to watch. Oh, Fork just steadfast spun it in the left-right. Forks through, and then you got B5 on the back of Bigelow.
There we see B5 running it up hard.
This B5's gonna go for it in the last turn here. He's got to. Oh, here we go.
Pushing in.
Sending
that inside line. Sending it in.
Yep.
Oh, boy, that's tight. There we go.
Nope. Yep, I saw that coming.
And Fife pushes right
ahead?
around Bigelow. Yeah, he is. Yep, Fife cleared that right ahead of Bigelow.
I wasn't sure
0.19 seconds, guys. Tell me these races aren't won by tenths, because you just saw it right there. Fantastic.
B5 was really on that inside curb there, and what'll happen is on exit is you hop off the curb and you get terrible traction. It happened to him a little bit there, but he managed it well. I thought he was going to lose the run to the line.
So we have our top 9 so far, with Electric being the only one not to finish. There's your top 10, folks. Dunn takes the 45 minutes to Nürburgring. Slobbery Spy, Donkey Pete are your podium sitters. B-Fife, Bigelow finish out your top 5. Doc Fork, Steadfast, Nat JB, Yash Joshi, and Electric ECC are your top 10. Rounding it out today, McAlpin, Red Ryder, BK Ferrari, BB Lightfoot, Chief Blaze, Thorn Geek, Dan 000, both of whom left the race today. And the Stolowski back there in last place due to damage and wonky internet. But with all that said, props to Josh for keeping Nat behind for so long. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want Nat behind me. Somebody that drives that fast, that hard. I mean, I don't have that pace, right? So the whole time he's in front of me, I'm freaking out. So 100%, I agree with that. Also depends on who you're.
No, trust me, it's
like 2 seconds slower.
It's much better to have Nat behind you than in front of you. Because if he's in front of you, he's just gonna pull away.
It's probably also but let's be fair here a minute, Stolowski. It's probably also a lot more fun to have Nat behind you than to have you behind me.
Oh yeah.
But now hold on, let me explain that
calmer.
though. I was gonna say, let me explain that, because you're not a Fork or an Electric. I'm not worried about you hitting me, but I could see you putting more pressure on than we saw him putting on Josh, right? Like you're gonna be riding that bumper, and I'm not gonna like it, and I'm probably just gonna let you go by.
Hey, Fork minded his P's and Q's behind me today. I don't know if you
He did.
noticed.
He did. I will give
We
him
talked
that.
about it.
And
Yes, we did.
then Thorngeek hammered the piss out of me. But Fork did a nice job.
No, excellent. I think it was an excellent race today. Look, the first lap was clean, right? No bash up. I was waiting for it today because, again, a lot like a Monza, you got a long straight, you got that sharp. You run
Oh
into
my
first
God,
gear
that
and
was
hammer down.
tight.
It was, but everybody kept it clean all the way through there. So I think it came out really well. If we talk about lap 1, and from there, of course there are race incidents. What are you going to do? It's a race.
Right.
Things are going to happen.
Right.
But it looks like it looked really good. Now, the only thing we did see was apparently, and to Pizza Man Pete's point in the chat, a lot of penalties today. Right? I think we saw, 7 or 8 total minimum? Maybe 10?
There was a bunch. I don't know. I couldn't keep track while driving, but it seemed like I saw a whole bunch cleared.
You got to fix your microphone, man. I can't handle this. You're killing me, Smalls. This is professional. This is a professional production. We can't have wonky microphones, Red. He left. He just said, "To hell with it. I don't want to talk to those guys anymore." So, as we did this week, folks, I thank everybody for joining us, and I will have results once the points are posted. We'll have those for Saturday's race next week, and we take a look at
There we go.
There we go.
Turn it off and back on again.
Thank you, Red. You sound awesome. You sound awesome. Well, I just heard myself for a second, but other than that, you sound pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, don't expect it all the time.
I don't. It's fine. With that, folks, I appreciate everybody joining us today. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Stolowski and Chief, for coming in. Thank you, Red, for being here as well, jumping in at the end of the race. And we had already figured out, Stolowski took a look at the replay and figured out that it was Thorngeek and not Fork that had offed you.
Oh, no, it was definitely Thorny.
And at one point, I had a little concern because you came through one of the corners. It was one of the slow. It was this. I think it's the corner after the Schumacher S.
Yeah,
Fork,
in the
Fork
sand.
was right on you. Well, no, Fork was right on you. You guys both stayed on the track, but then it looked like you had a wobble, but only when he was by that point like 2 car lengths behind you. So I really didn't think he had hit you. So it's good to confirm.
Yeah, no, he never
touched
touched me. It was when him and I were trying to get through that chicane together, and we slowed down way more than Thorngeek thought we were going to. I think was what happened there, and he's like, oh, well, that's over.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining. Listen, I want to thank all the racers today. You guys make sure, and I'm going to throw this screen up one more time for anybody that's in the chat that wasn't here earlier, because I see Dunn's here, I see Pizza Man Pete's here. I do want to throw this up before we take off, and I know it's the pre-race screen, but take a look on that left-hand side. There are the guys you watched today race this race. They're the ones that stream. Multitwitch.tv lets you watch everything as much as possible, right? So by all means, feel free to use that. Go give them some love. I know a lot of them stream when races aren't on. I know Pizza Man Pete does. I know Electric does. Go give these guys a watch. Chief plays stickball. It's all good in the hood, man. Steadfast as well does the F1 races. Again, thanks everybody for joining. Give up that follow. Please follow these guys, because we do have that goal of 200. I want 200 people getting a notification that you guys are racing next season. That's my goal. So by all means, thank you again. My kid's coming back down one more time. I don't know why. So everybody say hello to Connor in the chat. And that is the end of it for this week. We'll be back for next week's race, which is going to be that's the wrong.
It's the penis track.
That's the wrong
it's
thing.
The penis track.
What?
That's the wrong season still up there. No, it is. It's Snetterton and Donington Park next week. Saturday for Snetterton, that's your sprint race, 10-minute qual, 20-minute race. And Sunday, June 13th, is Donington Park to finish out the season. Again, today's format, 20-minute qual, 45-minute race. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thanks to you guys for being here. And that is the end of that. Y'all have a great day.
Hey, and thanks for everything you do holding this thing together, man. Good job.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
I'll talk to you later.
Later, guys.